Hi, I'm Tracy Sharman, and we're here today with Nelson Holmberg, the Executive Director of Southwest Washington Contractors Association, and you're listening to CTE-Know Before You Go. CTE is the Career and Technical Education Department at Vancouver Public Schools, and I'm Tracy Sharman. I'm the Career Coordinator here for Vancouver Public Schools CTE Department, and my job is to bring career-related experiences to our students. So we love to have employers and local businesses come in and tell us about their mission. So welcome, Nelson.
Great. Thank you. Thanks. Nice to be here.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your position as Executive Director of SWCA.
So as an executive director, it's sort of executive director is sort of a nonprofit term for CEO or Chief Executive Officer. And so that's what my position is at Southwest Washington Contractors Association. Sort of the face of the organization, but also responsible for all of the leadership within the organization, as well as sponsorships and member development and all of that kind of thing.
So what's a contractors association do, and how do people become members? Is it construction industry only? Who's it open to?
So we're primarily targeted at the commercial, industrial, and infrastructure segment of the construction industry in Clark County, or in Southwest Washington. But we also do have what we call supplier memberships and associate memberships as well. And so we're working with a lot of companies that work within the space of construction, and all of those companies are reliant upon one another to be successful. So what we do specifically is we do events for networking purposes. We do advocacy at the government level, from everything from local to state to federal when needed. We also do media outreach. We do a lot of again, the networking events, and then training as well.
Okay, great. And I think you guys have an event coming up that you wanted to talk about.
We have a couple of events coming up. The first one is on October 1st. It's the Regional Project Forecast, and that's down at Warehouse 23. Starts at 5:30. More information on our website at swca.org. And then the other one is our big kind of primary, I guess, training event of the year. We do a Construction Executive Summit, and that is February 6th at the Hilton in downtown Vancouver. And again, more information on our website about that one.
Very cool. So do you guys offer like safety training? What type of training is offered?
So we don't do directly a lot of safety training at this time. Mostly it's things that will help our companies move forward. So we're talking a lot. We're trying to put together members that might specialize in the design construction or design build area, so that a construction company and a designer might work well together, or a consulting firm or something might work together. So it's those kinds of connections that we're making right now. But we're also working toward finding ways to engage younger adults and emerging professionals who are interested in the construction area, or maybe haven't even been exposed to the construction area yet, to see what the industry looks like and how they might fit into it. So that's another big movement that we have going on right now.
Oh, that's wonderful, because Career and Tech Ed is really focused on hands-on learning and trying to get kids out there in the employers, working with employers side by side, so that they can get that experience and decide on what they want to do, whether that's go to university right out of school, or go to a trade school, or go to work and figure it out and get the employer to pay for college.
Yeah, that's really important too for the workforce, particularly in the construction industry.
And it does seem that the construction industry is booming around here in Vancouver, Washington.
It is. Yeah, and as folks start to get a little bit nervous about the next recession, what it might look like, when it might be, that kind of thing, we find ourselves concerned and paying attention to that. But at the same time, we also know that there is still quite a lot of work scheduled that hasn't broken ground yet, or is funded but hasn't quite been to the point of permitting and that kind of thing. So while the future does still look pretty bright for us, we're still keeping an eye on what might happen economically.
As I was doing a little research on SWCA, I saw that the City of Vancouver offers updates on what projects are going on a weekly basis through their Public Works page, and then they have a projects page all about construction happening in the local area. So that was really cool. A lot going on.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to a point of another thing that we offer at SWCA is a plan center. So we are actually sort of a clearinghouse, if you will, of projects that are happening around the community around Southwest Washington. So contractors, as well from the both subcontractor level and the general contractor level, can go in and take a look and see what work is out there that's been scheduled and planned, so they can bid on it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your pathway. You are a Hudson's Bay Eagle, graduated from Hudson's Bay.
Yeah.
Did you know what you wanted to do when you were in high school?
So it's funny. I spent a lot of time my junior and senior years taking architectural drawing and technical drawing classes, and I was pretty convinced that I was going to be an architect. I also was very convinced that I was going to go to Washington State University. And one of the things that I didn't do in terms of my due diligence picking my college was get away from the emotion of the decision that I was going to be a Coug. If I had done that and decided that the engineering side of it wasn't really for me because I wasn't always super strong at math, but the home design side of architecture was, I wouldn't have ended up in Pullman. But I ended up in Pullman anyway, and I enjoyed the Architecture 101 and the entry-level classes over there, but there's an engineering base to the architecture program over there. So as often happens with freshmen, I kind of got to a point where I said, I need to change my major. And one of the things that was beautiful about when I was in school at Hudson's Bay was we had lots of elective time allowed to us, available to us. So I explored some things as well. And journalism was one of those things that I took a look at. I was on the student newspaper in my senior year and did a lot of things there. So I had something to fall back on in college. I ended up going through the Murrow College of Communication at WSU, graduated with a public relations emphasis, and then spent the first 22, 23 years of my career doing media and public relations.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You just never know where you're going to end up.
Exactly.
And it's awesome that our schools offer so many different types of extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about sports, which is great and builds a lot of team building and a lot of integrity in students, but having the newspaper and the yearbook and DECA, different clubs like that students can kind of find themselves and find out what they're good at and what they're interested in.
No question. And like I said, if I hadn't had the opportunity to explore those different areas, I probably would have been in a world of hurt when I got to college.
We have a great internship partner, LSW Architects.
Oh, I love them.
And they help students, they take 10 to 12 kids from all over Clark County, and they help kids realize that maybe I want to be in architecture, but I want to do design. Or, hey, I want to be touching architecture, but I'm really good at HR. So it's an awesome program, and it helps save a lot of money and time when you're deciding on what to do. So I really, really advocate internships for students.
Yeah, so do I.
It's a benefit for both parents and students.
Yes.
Did you end up doing any internships in high school or college?
I did, as a matter of fact. When I was in college, between my junior and senior years, I did an internship with the American Junior Golf Association. So I was able to actually travel around the southeast of the United States with 4 other interns. All of us piled into a van with a trailer behind it, towing all of our equipment. And we put on 14 golf tournaments around the southeast. And this was an organization that just the year before I did this, Tiger Woods was playing in.
Really?
So it's a pretty high level of junior golf.
Wow.
And now that organization has just exploded and it's become a big, big, big deal. So that internship was a blast and got to do a lot of things that way. And then when I graduated, I went to what was then the Pacific 10 Conference. It's now the Pac-12 Conference. And I worked as a public relations intern in their office for a year, and that was really nice too. Good experience.
Really got to figure out if this is what you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. And the coordination that you learn in something like that when you're picking up and traveling and going to set up events like that.
Yeah.
But you have some stories.
Wild. I do have some stories. Yes. Yes.
So how did you know, you said when you went into school, you had the background in journalism, taking classes at Hudson's Bay. Hudson's Bay is one of our magnet programs, and they actually have Bay Aces. I don't know if Bay Aces was there when you were there.
It wasn't, but I've heard of it.
It's architecture and construction and design and environmental science, and so we're hoping to reach out to all those students that are interested in those things as well.
Excellent.
So I'm looking at my notes here. What do students do if they're interested in a career in the trades? Do you know where they can get a start?
Yeah, I would invite students to contact our office if they're interested in the commercial construction side of things, and then we can find the right resources within our membership to see if there's an opportunity for them to even do a job shadow, just to check something out and see if it's something they're interested in doing.
A job shadow is a great way for not only the student to figure it out, but for the employer to figure out. Maybe they want to take an internship on and they're not sure what it would entail, so that's a great way to do that. Southwest Washington Contractors Association, also known as SWCA, also has a foundation that awarded over $13,000 in scholarships to 14 local students, which is just really awesome. When does that scholarship period open?
So after the first of the year, we'll open the scholarship application period, and then sometime around the end of the school year, we'll make the awards of those scholarships.
And do you guys do an official presentation or?
So that's something that I'd like to see us do more of. I know that there are organizations around town within the trades that do a signing day, similar to what high school athletes would do when they go to college. I'd like to see industry-wide that we start to do that kind of a thing to recognize students.
Something that Mark Reith, our CTE director, wants to start here. We just partnered with AJAC, which is the Aerospace Joint Association Action Committee, and they had a signing day, and they've done 3 of them so far, and it's for students that are signing on to a youth apprenticeship program, and they're gaining 2,000 hours on the job experience, and then they're taking classes in the meantime. And they had the whole NFL music at signing day. We have 3 students from Vancouver Public Schools that are participating, and it was so exciting, and it was so nice to celebrate those different choices that kids are making.
That's great.
So we would love to do something like that too. Maybe we could do something at Hudson's Bay with the Bay Aces program. That would be really cool. You've served on lots of boards and committees across the community. How'd you first get involved in volunteering?
So volunteering's always been something that's been important to me. Both my mom and my dad raised me with that in mind. And so it's always been important to me. I've always looked for opportunities to be involved, not necessarily always on boards and committees, which you're right, I have served on several, but also I did get involved with Rotary about almost 10 years ago, and Rotary International has provided me the opportunity to do a lot of volunteer work, whether it be doing drywall work in a Habitat for Humanity house, or whether it be cleaning up parks, or getting the Clark County War Memorial ready for Veterans Day celebrations, those kinds of things. And so whatever it happens to be, I'm passionate about serving our community.
It's nice that VPS offers a lot of community service events for our students, and so does the city of Vancouver. I always see opportunities for them, not just for their to check a check mark off of their to-do list, but they're actually getting a lot out of it. Our students get a lot out of these opportunities. Tell us again a little bit about the training that's going on at the Hilton on the 6th.
Okay. So again, it's our Construction Executive Summit, and it's designed for folks who are currently in executive positions, or folks who are transitioning from the fields and the job sites into executive position roles. So we have a number of different topics throughout the day, everything from recession readiness to HR issues to things like that. So really kind of exposing folks from our membership to all the different facets of the construction executive area that they might be entering into and getting ready for.
Sounds like a real forum of best practices that can be shared.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. And if anybody wants to find out more information about Southwest Washington Contractors Association, they can go to www.swsca.org. They've been around for more than 73 years, and I'm sure memberships are available for local industries. And so we just really want to thank you for being on the show today.
It's been a pleasure.
And that's it for CTE Know Before You Go, and we hope you'll join us again. Thank you.